Big money, big government, large corporate entities, social media giants, government overreach, weaponization of governments, shadow governments, corruption, broken systems, overpowerful structures, outdated systems, collective trauma, power, illness, fear, ideologies, destruction of foundations, investigations, underworld, toxic energies, gaslighting, narcissism, status quo, social status, rank, and authority. As we arrive at our current Pluto placement, we find ourselves smack dab in the midst of Capricorn. Pluto appears to be a very malevolent energy as it exposes things buried in the depths of the collective consciousness, as well as things buried generationally and personally. It may seem as if Pluto creates destruction. However, the destruction it brings will lead us to a stronger foundation as a collective human race. We've witnessed how Pluto exposes the dark side of things with the recent expressions of past generational energies in our societies around the world. Some of the Leo generation are still using their outdated ideologies against us, socially speaking, in order to maintain their power and implementation of ideologies on future generations. Many from the Virgo generation are still stuck in causes from the past, as they can only maintain power over our people if they have a cause to fight for or against. Libra generation is out there burning through relationships, trying to find balance and connection in a sea of chaos. Scorpio generation are smashing their image in the mirror and blaming someone else for destroying their sense of self. Pluto and Sagittarius are trying to filter and free themselves from all the crazy ideologies, concepts, controversies, and corruption they see before them from the past generations. And our Capricorns are just getting started in life. Some are being born right now as you watch this video. Pluto in Capricorn is from 2008 to 2024, ages 14 and under at the time this video was recorded in 2022. Many of these children are children of the Pluto and Scorpio generation. They are Generation Alpha, and they're having a very different experience than any of the other generations of our time. Their Pluto and Scorpio parents are loving and caring to their Cappy babies. But a lot like Pluto and Libra, they're overly protective, and with their Scorpio influence, they're also very controlling, which will soon start to be a problem for Capricorn generation. Many of the children in this generation were heavily inundated with fear, which was overly expressed and absorbed into their psyche by the Pluto in Virgo and Pluto in Scorpio generations. This became extremely prevalent as the pandemic took rise in our communities. During this time, our schools shut down, extracurricular activities came to a halt, and being around other kids was a no-no. People masked up their babies in hopes to protect them from the threat of the virus. The sign of Capricorn can tend to be a little emotionally unattached. So handling Capricorn in this manner may end up being a contribution that distorts their ability to connect with others. On the other hand, they're strong, balanced, focused, and stable, despite the instability they were born into with the expressions of previous generations all converging at the same point in time. They will develop into adults that will offer a strong sense of stability to the collective. With all of these generations expressing their energy at the same moment in time, you can see why things are looking quite dark. Not just that, but the United States has been experiencing a very rare astrological event with its first Pluto return, which started in 2008 and lasts until 2024. Pluto only makes a return every 248 years, so it's an incredibly impactful astrological occurrence. We've seen the rise of corruption in governments around the world, organizations and structures getting bigger and more powerful. We've witnessed the corruption behind an illness that they created to destroy our foundations on every possible level. For many, it destroyed jobs, careers, businesses, and relationships. That's Pluto and Capricorn energy. Through our recent experiences, the corruption has become so obviously exposed to us. The dark elements of Pluto have taken rise in the hearts and minds of those who were unwilling to go along with the changes that Pluto intends to bring about. These people have been drawn into extreme intentions and actions that display their true nature. It's been quite obvious to some, but not so much to others who were still justifying the damages they were doing to the collective. This is how Pluto works. Those who understand and accept the changes that are to come will not be drawn into the dark side of Pluto's energetic nature. However, those who refuse to make necessary changes for the collective good are experiencing an overexpression of that Pluto energy. This manifests for them as expressions of fear, hate, anger, rejection, deception, self-importance, as well as divisive actions and intentions aimed towards others in the collective. Their actions are justified by the idea that they are fighting for a cause that they're willing to follow blindly and do almost anything for. Over the duration of Pluto and Capricorn, we've seen absurd mangling of truths, manipulation of facts, and narcissistic gaslighting. Try not to get too upset with them. People that fall into this category are still very much asleep, stuck in the past, or tied to the matrix, if you will. Blue pill, red pill, they have no idea of the reality in which many have already awakened to. That reality is one where the governments, organizations, and elite alliances of this world have gotten so powerful that they pose a real threat to the safety, foundations, and future of our human race. The people that have made their way to power have done it at the expense of those they swore to protect. They've used the things that really matter to us to pit us against one another. Everyone believes that they are on the side of good. But what is the side of good? Virtue signaling has become a way of making people feel good about their questionable and divisive actions, and to make others appear less virtuous. They do not stand on truth or fact. Instead, they use outdated concepts to keep driving division. Our very own people are fighting the fight for the ones that want to repress us. They're so buried in the programming that they can't see the error of their ways. Pluto is bringing that frequency to the surface through their expressions of fear and hate. Those who have awakened, moved into the future, moved into the 5D, and/or escaped the matrix, are puzzled by all that has been happening during this visit with Capricorn. They're no longer viewing things from the illusion the powers that be so desperately want to keep us trapped in. This poses a threat because it means putting an end to their ability to profit from our hardships and taking away their power over our people. The United States of America declared its independence in 1776 during Pluto's last visit to Capricorn. Think about all the destruction that happened leading up to that moment for the United States. And look at how it worked out. That's right, independence, freedom. Can you see where this is going? Pluto is back. We're at a precipice as Pluto makes leave of Capricorn and begins to move into Aquarius. This is a very sensitive time for humanity. The way we choose to align our intentions will determine if we move forward in strength as a collective or remain in a perverse power struggle stuck in the past where oversized entities use and abuse our people for power. How will you choose? It's really not a hard choice. The writing is on the wall. Do you align yourself with fear, hate, and revenge, or strength, power, and connection? If you're ever curious how anyone aligns on this matter, just look at the words they use and look at their actions. When it comes to making your contribution to the collective well-being of your home, city, state, country, and our human race, remember to make sure that contribution isn't tied to outdated ideologies that only serve to help them and hurt us. As much as Pluto is so very intense and destructive, it is so beautiful in the way it transforms our energy as a collective through the generations. I feel we're almost through the destructive aspects of Pluto and Capricorn and getting ready to move towards the real changes that need to be made. We've been distracted with nonsense for far too long. We can solve many of the problems we have by taking the power away from the people who keep creating our problems and putting it back in the hands of our people. Pluto in Libra and Pluto in Sagittarius will be analyzing how to find balance as we move forward. They will have revolutionary solutions to problems that past generations were too short-sighted and selfish to correct. As we move into Pluto in Aquarius, we are also in the age of Aquarius, and this is a time when you'll see our people begin to find their balance. It's a new world coming, one that won't look like what we've known before, but there's nothing we can do to avoid the changes to come. We must move forward in strength as a collective into that future without fear. If we don't take charge of the creation of this new world, the future will not be one of freedom and abundance, but one of compliance, restrictions, control, and destruction of our true nature as human beings. The first step is to stop putting these people in positions that will control or affect our future. Coming together in our communities is where we'll find our strength and the right people to handle the responsibility of representing our collective voice. The days of career politicians are nearing their end. Our future is with people who will represent our collective interests. In the meantime, make an effort to get involved in your community. Connect with one another and help to build a society of people that can count on one another to work towards a healthy and abundant future. When you're faced with a person that's expressing Pluto's shadow energy, be kind and do not allow yourself to be drawn into their shadow frequency. Stay on the side of love, connection, and balance. Just be good people. It was my pleasure going on this Plutonian adventure. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, I suggest you check them out. They can be found in my playlists under Generations. I'll also leave a link to my playlist in the description below. Tune back in next Sunday at 7 p.m. for our weekly discussion. We'll discuss interesting topics that will help to bring enlightenment and understanding of the frequencies that surround us. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching.